And now let's meet tonight's opponent, Weston FC. In goal, number 31, Joseph Giddes. At defense, number 2, Sebastian Garcia. At defense, number 6, Adam Hassan. At defense, number 21, Cody Cochran. At defense, number 17,
anytime.
At midfield, number 3, Max Secord. At midfield, number 7, Inigo Saggerty. At midfield, number 8, Andres Cepeda. At midfield, number 10, Alessandro Campoy.
It's the Drive for 5 tonight as i1tv.net presents Soccer Night in Florida. The USL Premier Development League as the Lakeland Tropics host Weston FC. Great to have you along again. Another Soccer Saturday in Lakeland, Florida, as the 4-1 Lakeland Tropics look to extend their winning streak here in their first ever year in the PDL to 5 games. That would actually rival the longest win streak for any team in the PDL this season. So we'll see if they can pull it off against Weston tonight. Weston comes into the game 0-5-1. So on paper, this may be one of the few times here early in the season that Lakeland is actually a favorite coming into a contest. Lakeland at 4-1 with 12 points is tied for second in the Southeast with FC Miami City. They are playing tonight, the champions, FC Miami City. They are hosting Palm Beach. So it is likely that FC Miami City will win tonight since Palm Beach is winless so far this season. So the Tropics would need a victory against Weston tonight to keep pace. Now, don't forget, these two teams have actually already played once this season. It was down in Weston. It was the second ever road game for Lakeland and their first ever win. They defeated Weston by a score of 2-1. Ricardo Diegues, who has been the offensive hero for Lakeland much of the early part of the season, the hero certainly in that one for Lakeland with 2 first-half goals. Jonathan Valerio made those stand up with an outstanding second half in goal as the Tropics came back to Polk County with a 2-1 win. That turned out to be the second of what is now a 4-game win streak. Weston has struggled a little bit. As we mentioned, they are 0-5-1. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but first, our national anthem. Just a little bit of late rain beginning to fall here on Square One Burger Field at Bryant Stadium. We will play, though, through the rain. We do not expect any lightning delays. The radar showing just some very, very light showers in the area, and don't think that should interrupt things, although if we do get lightning, of course, we would delay the proceedings at that point. The field is AstroTurf, so despite the inches and inches of rain that we've had here in Lakeland and Polk County in the last week or so, obviously the field conditions are not an issue playing on AstroTurf. A fast surface tonight as the two captains meet at the center circle. That is Ricardo Diegues, of course, for the Tropics, and Adam Hassan for Weston. As we mentioned, Weston 0-5-1, and it's been kind of an unusual campaign so far. They too are an expansion team in the PDL this season, and they have played some very good games early in the season. In fact, their one tie came against IMG Academy, who we know is a pretty good team. They had Lakeland on the ropes down in Broward County, where they play their home games in that 2-1 Tropics win. They really controlled play in the second half, and if not for the outstanding work of Jonathan Valerio in goal, Weston could have easily walked away with a win then. They then lost 2-1 to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. No shame in losing to Tampa Bay, but the last two have gotten a bit ugly for Weston, and part of that is certainly the competition they are playing. They were on the road at Montverde Academy against SEMA, probably the team to beat, most would tell you, in the Southeast this season, and the Aguilas hung a 6-0 loss on Weston in that game back on May 31st, and a week ago down in Broward College on the East Coast, the Villages paid a visit, and the Villages SC came out with a 6-0 win as well. We'll talk more about the Villages as we move through the broadcast this evening. That is a team that is on the Tropics schedule a week from tonight on the road up at the Villages, and after a very rough start for the Buffalo, they have certainly rallied and gotten themselves back into the divisional picture. They, of course, the defending Southeast Division champions, and they are home tonight against IMG in a very key Southeast Division showdown, so we'll keep an eye on that one as it kicked off about an hour or so ago, and at the half, the last report we had was the Buffalo were leading IMG by a 1-0 score, so we'll keep an eye on that one, but the main focus is here tonight at Bryant Stadium as Ricardo Diegues gets ready to kick things off for the 4-1 Tropics, looking for their 5th consecutive win, and that would at least keep them in a tie for second in the division, depending on the outcome of that FC Miami game, and we do expect probably the champions to win that, so Lakeland will need to answer, and we'll see if they can do so here tonight. We're underway. Another Soccer Saturday in Lakeland. Glad to have you as part of Soccer Night in Florida on i1tv.net. We will be back a couple of Saturdays from now here at Bryant Stadium for a big, big showdown against FC Miami City, but there is a lot of soccer to be played for the Tropics between now and then, including, obviously, tonight's game. Some pressure in there early by Louis Betancourt for Weston. He is their leading scorer. Ooh, a dangerous run and a whistle and a foul. Almost an early chance for Victor Pereiras. Here's the ball long to Diegues, and they are going to say the restart came a little quick. Diegues with 5 goals, obviously the Tropics' leading scorer. He is among the PDL leading scorers. 7 is the high water mark so far for any player in the league. See if Ricardo can perhaps creep up on that here tonight. Here's Jovius, leaves it for Rojas. Knocked over the sideline, and Jovius will get a throw in here for Lakeland. Handball against Weston. That was Corentin DeMouton, number 17, on the violation. Oh, I guess they're going to call it against Lakeland. Beg your pardon. It was against Rojas. So it'll be a free kick for the Weston goalkeeper tonight, Joseph Giddis, who, according to my records, is making his first starting goal tonight for Weston. He has not appeared in net in any of the first 6 games. Long ball goes all the way to Valerio, who covers. Made sure that there was no real opportunity there for Weston to create something. Betancourt was lurking. Diegues will battle near the center line. Weston will come out of there with it. Long ball looking for Zach Jones. Jones and Valerio will come off his line to knock it out of danger, and Rojas will pick up the loose ball. Rojas being marked by Jones again. Jones and Betancourt, the forwards up front for Weston. They are both dangerous, no question about it. Lucas Weichers and Ramsey Torrey back on defense for the Tropics. Going to have to be careful as Betancourt lets go with a long shot as he got a half a step on Torrey, but it was well over the top of the net. Just underway, 3 minutes in here at Bryant Stadium tonight. No real chances yet for either side. Weichers will start to push it upfield now for Lakeland. Drives it looking for Juan Tejada. And Weston will control. Ivo Diaz had it briefly, but Jones picks it up for Weston, plays it back now to Nicholas Pereira. Stolen away, here come the Tropics. Here's Pereiras. Pereiras gets it to the middle of the field and finally has it knocked away. Both Diegues and Rojas were making a run, but Pereiras couldn't quite control it. Now here's a chance again for the Tropics. Ball to the middle of the field and no one there for Lakeland. Headed over the sideline, throw in for Lakeland. Pereiras had a chance to cut it to the middle of the field and just couldn't quite keep control and create what would have been a great scoring opportunity. Here's the ball into the box now. Diegues taken down, cleared out of there. It's Tejada doing the work to get it in there. He has been a nice addition to this Lakeland roster. Comes in with a couple of goals and an assist. Third on the team in points, or actually second on the team in points. Rojas has 2 goals, but no assists yet. Rojas comes in as the leading shot taker for Lakeland this year with 24. Diegues second on that list, 5 goals and 17 shots. Here's Ivo Diaz with it. Diaz with a little space to work. Gives it to Tejada, is pressured and knocked off the ball by Max Steigwart. But it'll eventually work its way back to Valero, who will clear the zone. Here's a ball that Pereiras tries to control. Diegues will take a chase, but cleared out of there by Gittes. Diegues just about a step away from creating a very good opportunity. There's a whistle and a foul as Hovius got a little toasty on the challenge. Chase Hovius, star from nearby Auburndale. Had a great senior season for the Bloodhounds. Certainly friends and family in the stands here tonight at Bryant Stadium, as they have been for all of Chase's home games. He did not appear in the opener back on May 20th, but has played every game since. Here comes Pereiras. Pereiras trying to push and go, has some space down the left wing. Still on the attack. There's a cross looking for Rojas. Heads it to Diegues, and the redirect on the header, and it just never quite got through. Here's Tejada. Tejada cuts it in front to Diegues. Diegues turns, fires, and a save by Gittes. Great scoring opportunity there for the Tropics as Diegues made his bid for goal number 6. Just 6 minutes in. Expect some fireworks tonight. Weston has given up 12 goals in their last 2 games, and Gittes will wisely slow things down here for Weston. Here comes Perea with it. Feeds it left side now to Jones. Zach Jones being bothered over there by Hovius, and it'll be a throw-in for Jones. Jones will throw the long ball in, and it goes right to Valerio. So an easy play for the Lakeland netminder, who comes in with a 4-1 mark. Goals against average of 1.80 and is among the league leader in shots faced this year in the entire 72-team PDL. Here's a whistle. And Lakeland will get the free kick. Just to finish the thought there on Valerio, he has faced 33 shots, or has made 33 saves actually so far this season. He has faced 60 shots. Controlled by Matias Misano at the midfield circle, number 7 for Weston. The visitors did not actually arrive here at Square One Burger Field until about 6:15, so they had a little travel delay coming up from Broward County. Of course, that's not a around-the-block kind of trip, and with some weather issues and whatnot, they were a little late in arriving, but here nonetheless, and ready to give it their best, I'm sure, tonight. Here's a counter chance, and Jones will try and track it down, but Hovius will get there first and knock it out of play. Just about the same spot that Jones had the throw in a couple of minutes ago. This time he decides to get it back to Steigwart, and he will play it all the way back to Adam Hassan, as Weston will play a little possession here and try and set things up in the Tropic Zone. 9 minutes in, no score. Ricardo Diegas with the best opportunity, but he was stopped on a great save by Joseph Giddis. I think the brief rain showers have passed. I don't see any of the umbrellas up in the east or west stands anymore, so that's good news, and certainly do not expect any heavy weather here tonight. Here's Steigwart with the long ball in. Headed out of there. Controlled by Betancourt. Number 10 is Alessandro Campoy for Weston, but Ivo Diaz will pick it up for Lakeland. Feeds it to Rojas. And Rojas will reverse fields to Ramsey Torre. The history maker for Lakeland, got the Tropics' first ever goal in their first ever home game here at Bryan Stadium. Of course, it turned out to be their first ever goal anyway in franchise history, since they were shut out in that May 11th 4-0 defeat in Miami. But that was then, and this is now. The Tropics a much, much better side than they were in that May 11th road trip to Miami. Long ball through to Rojas. He's got Tejada making a run, and Diegas as well. Rojas with a move to the top of the box. Still with it. Shot right on, and Geddes makes the save. Another good opportunity for the Tropics as Rojas cut it to the top of the box and let it fly. But Geddes again equal to the task. Torrey will track it down here for Lakeland. Not hard to find Ramsey out there. He's 6'5", star for the University of Tampa soccer team. Ivo Diaz feeds it to the left wing. Diaz just graduating from Southeastern University here in Lakeland, where he was a star player for Clay Roberts, the coach of the Lakeland sister franchise, the Florida Tropics. Foul against Weston, so free kick coming up here for Lakeland. Ivo Diaz was looking for Diegues and didn't quite get it off the ground enough, and it is over the sideline out of play. Throw in for Lakeland will go to Diegues. Tried to find Pereiras. Diegues, though, picks it up. Does give it to Pereiras. Now back to Ricardo. Diegues with a shot, and that's blocked, and the flag was up for the offsides call against Ricardo Diegues. So goal kick coming up here for Gittes. But you can tell here in the first 12 minutes of action that Lakeland will clearly be able to generate some scoring opportunities here tonight. Question for Weston is, can they keep it close and maybe put something together in the final 45 minutes? Kind of a little bit like the men's national under-20 World Cup game against Venezuela earlier this week, if you happen to catch that one. Some PDL alumni on that U.S. under-20 roster, as they gave Venezuela all they could handle in that World Cup quarterfinal. Good tournament for the under-20 side. Just missed advancing for the third time in history to the semifinals. But Venezuela was clearly favored in that game and played like it for about the first 80 minutes, but in those final 10 minutes of the second half, the U.S. had some really good opportunities. And just not able to find the back of the net, but they almost stole that one. Long ball headed out by Salgado. Pereiras on the counter now for Lakeland. Pereiras tries to feed it in front, and that will stay in play, and Pereiras will keep possession. Again, tries the cross. It's blocked. And Salgado will give it to Pereiras. Tries to keep it in play, but he can't. Jurgen Klinsmann's son, spectacular job in goal for that U.S. under-20 men's national team. So tip of the soccer cap to that group for their fine performance in Korea in the World Cup. Diegues tried to lay one off to Tejada, but it will roll to Gittes.
Being a sponsor of Tropic Soccer. Today, visit theledger.com.
But if you're an underdog in outdoor soccer, that's kind of the game plan. Just hang around and play good defense, limit the chances, and maybe come up with something late. Not dissimilar to what Lakeland was trying to do in that opener a month ago in Miami. It was a 1-0 game in the 76th minute when Victor Rojas had a very good scoring opportunity, and he was unable to convert. But had Victor put that one home and made it a 1-1 game with 15 minutes to go, who knows how that may have turned out differently. As it was, Lakeland, of course, started really pressing the attack and gave up a couple of easy late goals in the 4-0 game, the 4-0 final. Somewhat reflective of the fact that Miami certainly had the better of the play, but again, the Lakeland in position late to, if nothing else, maybe come out of there with a point. Gittes will play it into the Lakeland zone where Torrey heads it back the other way, but Weston will now again control. Campoy with it, feeds it on the right wing. Here's a chance for Weston, fed in front and knocked out of there nicely by Weichers. Lucas Weichers, good stay-at-home defenseman, if you will, and he was in the perfect spot right there. Here's the long ball down to Rojas. Rojas will be able to track it down in the right corner. Crosses, and it's knocked out of there by a Weston defender. I think it may have been intended for Rodriguez. Gustavo Rodriguez for the Tropics, pressing forward on that attack. Here's Hovius with it. Loses it. Weston will control. It's Perea. Leaves it for Tomasino, back to his defender, Cody Cochran, number 21. And now all the way back to Giddis. 18th minute coming up here in Lakeland, still scoreless. And that is thanks to a couple of big saves by Joseph Giddis so far. Here's a counter opportunity for Weston. Perea tries to, that was Betancourt, number 9, but he had it knocked out of there. Back out to the midfield circle. Tomasino picks it up, sends it on the right wing. Taken away by the Tropics. Diegues, I think, is going to be, well, the flag is not up, and so Pereira has it on the left side. Pereira cuts it to the top of the box, still with it to Diegues, and he can't control. Those two working a lot of magic already here in the outdoor season and also during the Major Arena Soccer League indoor season that the Florida Tropics completed over at the Lakeland Center, now the RP Funding Center, back in February. Of course, the Florida Tropics back in action late this fall. MASL finalizing its plans for the season coming up, and we'll have a schedule out sometime later this summer. But the high-powered, high-flying action of the Major Arena Soccer League will be back for year 2 in Lakeland come this winter. Here's a through ball to Tejada. Tejada has an open net, turns, fires, goal! Pretty individual effort by Juan Tejada. He nets his 3rd of the season, and the Lakeland Tropics have taken a 1-0 lead. Giddis came off his line to challenge, and Tejada was able to chip it by him and turn and fire into what was essentially an open net. Well, that's one smoke bomb that's been set off by the Swan City Syndicate behind the Weston goal. I hope they have a few more because I don't think one will be all we see tonight. And that is Gustavo Rodriguez that is down.
Bees Mongolian Grill is conveniently located in Lakeside Village. Open for lunch, dinner, and happy hour. Bring your ticket stub in anytime next week for 10% off your entire.
He will get a helping hand from the captain, Ricardo Diegues, who has a word or two for the official, but Rodriguez is up and apparently okay. Throw in for Weston, and they will just do the gentlemanly thing and turn it over to the Tropics. 1-0 Lakeland on the goal by Tejada, his 3rd. Steal by Pereiras, another counter here for Lakeland. Pereiras has Ivo Diaz making a run on the left side, and it will go over the end-line goal kick for Weston. Don't see Pedro get into the offense all that often from his midfield position, but good decision right there to press forward on the attack. Lakeland had a potential numbers situation on their side.
Hey fans, just a reminder, don't forget to check out the Tropics merchandise.
Torrey will head to Tejada now. Tejada gives it up to Rojas. Rojas tries to find some space to operate. Was closely marked in there by DeMutin. And DeMutin will get it back, and there's a whistle and a call against Weston. Hovius will put it in play. Good defensive intercept by Weichers right there. And he sends it over the far sideline. Weston has had a couple of opportunities. Valerio has not had to make any big saves yet. The couple of times that Weston has pressed the attack and gotten deep into Lakeland zone has not quite resulted in a good shot on goal, but a corner kick, I believe, coming up now here for the visitors. So this will be a good opportunity for Weston, trailing 1-0. They come in tonight with a goal differential in their 6 games of a -18. 4 goals for, 22 goals against, and as we mentioned, 12 of those 22 in the last couple of games. Ball into the box is cleared out of there by the Tropics. It was Rodriguez able to clear the zone, and here comes Pereiras on the counter. Pereiras looks for Diegues. Diegues trying to track the long ball down, and Gittes comes out and beats Diegues just by a half step to that loose ball. Second time that Diegues is almost shaken free behind the Weston defense. Good play by Tejada there. Easy to see Juan's got those neon green cleats. Salgado keeps it alive and gets it back to Torre now, to Hovius. Here come the Tropics. Rojas calling for a ball on the far side. Here it comes. Rojas behind the defense, still fighting. Rojas with a shot, and then finally good defensive play in there by one of the Weston defenders, as he was able to get in front of what would have been a good scoring opportunity for Rojas. That was Cody Cochran who made the defensive play. Zach Jones with it. Going to pick up the loose ball again, being watched by Hovius. Tried to backheel to a Betancourt near the top of the box, but Weichers once again on the good defensive play. "25 minutes in, 1-0 Lakeland on a goal by Juan Tejada. Gives us a chance to thank a lot of the Tropic sponsors who are also integral in making this first ever season in the PDL a success. Of course, Bond Clinic. Couldn't do any of this without the good folks at Bond Clinic and their support. Hummel, El Forno Italian Restaurant, Olive Garden, Kaiser University, Lakeland Electric, Citizens Bank and Trust, ServPro of Lakeland, just among the many sponsors on board here in the Lakeland Tropics inaugural season. Offsides called against Lakeland. Little bit anxious pressing the attack. Not often that they get the kind of space that they've had here tonight to operate. As Gittes will direct traffic downfield. Ball will sail over the head of Zach Jones and out of play, so Lakeland will get possession. Hovius will do the honors here. Just looking for Diegues, and DeMutin got a foot in there. So we'll do it again. And a little too active on the throw-in, so they're going to make Chase do it again here. Jones with it now for Weston. Thought he might have Betancourt making a little bit of a run to his side of the field, but no one there except Orange and White Tropics. Here's Rodriguez. He'll switch it up to the left side now to Salgado, ahead to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, nice overlap by Pereiras, and then a nice sliding defensive play by Sebastian Herreros, number 2. Throw in coming up for Lakeland. Pereiras turns and has it go over the end line, so goal kick coming up now for Lakeland. And Pereiras will tee it up in the far corner here. Ramsey Torrey in his 6'5" frame will come into the box. Always a nice target to have. Here's the long ball into the box, and I think Tejada actually may have got a little piece of it, but it was knocked out of there by the Weston defense. Hovius tries to keep possession. Long ball downfield knocked away by Weichers. And Pereiras will corral it. Pereiras has it knocked over the end line, but he last touched it, so Weston with the throw in. Still 1-0. Lakeland on top. Update from up north in the Villages. The Buffalo now with a 2-0 lead over IMG in the second half. And the Villages have certainly roared to life here in the last couple of weeks, the defending Southeastern Division champions. In case you might have missed maybe one of the more surprising results of the campaign so far in the Southeast. That came Wednesday night in Tampa Bay when the Villages and the Rowdies got together. And the Villages scored 4 goals in the first half, 4 goals in the second, to beat the Rowdies on the road 8-3. This is for a Villages team that I believe dropped their first 3 games of the season, including that thrilling 4-3 opener here at home opener here at Bryan Stadium back on May 20th. And Lakeland will face both Tampa Bay and the Villages next week on the road. Those are the 2 upcoming matches on the schedule next Wednesday in Tampa Bay. Here's a ball through to Tejada, knocked out of there by the Weston defense. Counter attack for the visitors now. Some space for Alessandro Campoy. Picked up by Perea. Torrey will chase it down, and it will go out of play. Throw in for the Tropics. So it's Wednesday in Tampa Bay. That is a 7:30 kickoff, and as of right now, that game is scheduled for the Waters Avenue Soccer Complex, not Al Lang Stadium, where the Rowdies under-23 team has played some of their PDL games this year. But right now, weather permitting and field conditions permitting, that game Wednesday, 7:30 in Tampa Bay, will be at the Waters Avenue Soccer Complex. Here is the steal by the Tropics. Rojas with it. Rojas with some space down the right side. Feeds it in front. Diego shot a goal! Victor Rojas with some pretty work out near the midfield line to create the space, and an even prettier feed to Ricardo Dieguez, who nets his 6th of the season on the redirect off the foot of Victor Rojas. Very pretty goal for the Tropics, and they now lead it 2-0. Credit Victor with all the hard work, and credit Ricardo with the finish.
We would like to take a minute to thank all of our corporate and restaurant partners. Bottom Clinic PA, Hummel,
Steal again almost by Rojas, but Weston able to control it. And now taken away, and there is a whistle and a foul as Rodriguez was locked up with DeMutin. So Wednesday in Tampa Bay and next Saturday at the Villages. As the schedule and the road schedule in particular gets pretty stout for Lakeland. Here's Pereira, and offsides is called. And we have a yellow card up, I believe. Nope. Just a whistle. Didn't really see anything that warranted a card unless somebody had said something on the field, but it will be a goal kick here for Weston. So next Saturday at the Villages, as we said, the Villages with an 8-3 win over Tampa Wednesday, leading IMG Academy tonight 2-0. And should that result hold, the Villages would actually move into third place behind Lakeland in the Southeast Division. So that game next Saturday up in the Villages could really have a lot of impact in the standings. And in fact, that is a yellow card. On the hard foul.
Weston FC, number 8.
Nicholas Pereira with the hard tackle and the yellow card. Someone to watch in that game next Saturday, should he dress, is Matthew LaRue. And if that name does not sound familiar to Tropics fans, that would be because he did not dress, did not play in that game here on May 20th. And in fact, that game against Tampa Bay last Wednesday was his first for the Buffalo this season, and he scored 4 goals. So the Village is starting to really roll after getting off to a difficult start. I think something like their first 5 games of the season were all on the road, so that certainly was a bit of the issue as well. And before all is said and done, the Buffalo are not going to go quietly into the Southeast Division night in trying to defend what was their 2016 championship. In fact, the Tropics have 3 in a row on the road after tonight. Wednesday, Saturday set up. After that game a week from tonight at the Villages, it's on to the South Florida Surf, also a very good side for a Wednesday night 6 o'clock matchup there, before returning June 24th to Bryant Stadium in that rematch against FC Miami City, who of course are tied with Lakeland for second heading into the action tonight. So things will get a lot more difficult for Lakeland. Here's a nice through ball to Compoy. Compoy tries to feed it in front, and play was well read by Chase Hovius, who knocked it out of danger. Try and get an update for you on that game up in the Villages tonight. The PDL Game of the Week, IMG and the Villages. As we said, about midway through the second half was the last report we had, and it was 2-0 Buffalo. Here's Diegues again behind the Weston defense with a shot. Save Rojas with the rebound and a goal! Victor Rojas gets his third of the season. So goal number 2 was Diegues from Rojas, and goal number 3 will be Rojas from Diegues.
Number 18, Victor Rojas.
So Rojas nets his third Tejada has his third. So it has been pretty much all Tropics here in the first 45 minutes. Third smoke bomb of the night going off behind the Weston goal, and I don't think we're done yet. Here's a whistle and a foul against Lakeland. Perea not very happy, and then a push in there as well. And let's see if we've got a card coming or not here. I haven't seen one yet. It's Victor Rojas and Alessandro Campoy who had a little shove on each other there. Campoy will take the free kick here. Into the box and knocked over the net, and it'll be a corner here for Weston FC.
Interventional radiology, women's imaging and vein care with locations in Lakeland and Plant City.
Nice play by Valerio as he goes high and plucks it out of the air in traffic. It's really Valerio's most athletic moment of the game here. And they have gone final in the Villages, and the Buffalo have in fact won their third in a row, 4-0 over IMG. So the Villages improved to 3-3. Rojas trying to track down the loose ball. Dieguez in there as well, but knocked away. And Weston, Max Zweigart, number 3, came out of there with it. So the Villages move into third place by themselves now, ahead of IMG, who slips to 2-3-1. The Villages now 3-3-0. Good win for the Buffalo. Dieguez with the steal. He's ahead of the field again. Dieguez with it around the goaltender. Shot and a goal. Dieguez with his second. And his 7th of the season, which coming into action tonight would tie him for the league lead in the PDL in goals scored. Of course, don't have any of the results from around the league this weekend, but certainly Dieguez will be very near the top of the scoring table after tonight. 4-0 Lakeland. Still 5 minutes to go in the first half here, and for the Tropics, may see some extended minutes tonight by some of the reserves, which would be nice for the reserves, and you certainly don't want to put any of your starters in injuries way in the second half. So I'm sure Lakeland coach Ian Conlon will be very conscious of that. And here comes a yellow card against Gusti Rodriguez.
It's a yellow card for Lakeland Tropics, number 28. Gustavo Rodriguez.
Free kick for the Weston FC side, and Campoy poised there to take it. Tropics will go with a 3-man wall. There's the long shot right on goal, and Valerio makes the save.
Hey, Tropics fans! Looking for a convenient, affordable storage solution? Stop in one of the best storage's 2 area locations today. For more information,
Second time this season that Diegues has scored twice, and both times have been against Weston. Betancourt tries to get around Weichers. Torrey comes over to help. Knocked out a play, throw in for Weston. Long ball into the box looking for Zach Jones, knocked out of there. Whistle and be a kick coming up here for Lakeland. 4-0 Tropics, 2 by Diegues, Tejada, and Rojas, the goal scorers. They came in as the 3 leading scorers for the Tropics and will exit that way tonight as well. Here's Rojas again. Rojas with a chance down the right side. Rojas cuts it to the middle. Shot. Oh! Never got through. Rebound! Great strike by Pereiras. And he just missed. Victor Pereiras sneaking in to the top of the box, and just a little bit too much traffic in front to get that one home, but that has the Square One Burger Field at Bryant Stadium crowd buzzing, that's for sure. Pedro Ivo Diaz with it. To Jovius. Back to Luca Weichers. Looks for some help and send it a little too far for Victor Rojas. So we head towards the end of the regulation time here in the first half. Best half of the season for sure for Lakeland, at least in terms of offensive output. Just 45 seconds left before we hit the 45-minute mark. Diegues also with goals this season against Tampa Bay, Palm Beach, and the Villages. Weichers will control for the Tropics. Gets it left side to Salgado, has it taken away. Counter attack for Weston now. Nice sliding play by Salgado, and he knocks it over the sideline to stop that offensive opportunity. In fact, the only games that Diegues has not scored in fact, the only game that Diegues has not scored in was that opener in Miami. He has had at least one in each of the 4 straight wins that Lakeland has reeled off since. And 2 tonight makes 7 for the season. Take a look and see who the leading scorers are in the PDL, but I know 7 was at the top of the list. Here's a chance for Weston in stoppage time, fed in front, and knocked out of there by Ivo Diaz. Good defensive play. Long ball through to Diegues, but it is offsides, and that is the end of the first half. And what a first half it was for the Lakeland Tropics. Juan Tejada with a goal, Victor Rojas with a goal, and Ricardo Diegues with a pair. And Victor Rojas and Ricardo Diegues teaming up on those last goals. So coming into action tonight, Kevin Omandi was the leading scorer in the league from Charlotte, and he had 7 goals, and he's the only one in the league that had 7 goals coming into the game tonight. So at the moment, at least according to the PDL website and their official stats, Diego's now sharing the league lead in goals with 7. So we'll see if he can add to that total in the second half. I'm sure we'll see some substitutes as well. And we'll talk about what's to come not only in the second half, but in the next few weeks as well. We'll step aside for a few moments and take a break here on Soccer Night in Florida. Good to have you along on i1tv.net. It is the Lakeland Tropics 4 and Weston FC no score. We'll see you at the start of the second half. Yep.
I think somehow this is pulling when it goes.
I moved it though. I was moving it back, like I was touching it. And I didn't feel it move. I'm like,
A special thanks to Cool Now Air Conditioning for keeping the players cool in the locker room at halftime. To stay cool yourself, visit the Cool Now Cool Zone located on the east sideline next to the concession stand. Cool Now is a proud sponsor of the Lakeland Tropics.
That was my life. Wow, that's perfect. I love that.
Love.
It's perfect. Does this look grainy on your screen? How do I fix that? Is there a way I can fix it?
Stay on.
I didn't know if it was something I did.
What's my time with one?
The Tropics and Square One Burger would like to wish a happy birthday to Rebecca Martin. As a courtesy of Square One, you will receive a free gift card towards any purchase. Again, happy birthday, Rebecca. To learn more about celebrating your birthday at a Tropics game, call our front office at 863-240-0101 or visit lakelandtropics.com.
Come with me. Again!
Tropics fans, don't forget, not only can you enjoy Jet's Pizza here at the game, but you can also enjoy 30% off anytime by presenting a ticket or wearing a Tropics merchandise into their Lakeland location, just off South Florida Avenue. To see their full menu, go to jetspizza.com or call 863-709-0999. That's a yellow card on number 10, Weston FC.
No, he like started recording. Oh, yeah. About to hop on that for you.
Stop. What?
I turned it around and I was like, this is my vlog.
Don't do
He
anything.
gave his Twitter name and everything, his Twitter handle.
Can't hear anything. What?
You're in the trap.
All right, good clear.
That was literally like the last word he said.
We were building up. Actually, now we get.
Make sure to stop by the Tropics merchandise stand to pick up exclusive Hummel Tropics replica jerseys, t-shirts, and more. Hummel is the official kit provider of your Lakeland Tropics. For more information, visit www.hummel.net.
Testing, 1, 2. Back here at Bryant Stadium, soccer night in Florida. Apologize for being gone a little longer than we had anticipated, but we had a little technical issue to work out. There's a shot just wide by Victor Rojas in the 56th minute. So the score stays at 4-0. No substitutes yet for the Tropics. We anticipated that perhaps we'll start seeing some maybe a little earlier than normal. Usually Owen Conlon, the Lakeland coach, will start looking to put fresh legs in around the 70 or 75th minute of the second half. Might be a little bit earlier tonight because of the 4-0 lead. We'll see. Fireworks again tonight over at Tiger Town. Lots of fireworks here at Bryant Stadium as well. Ricardo Dieguez with 2 goals, and as we said, that actually will tie him at the top of the scoring table in the PDL, at least for now. And who knows, maybe more to come before the night is out. The other reason Conlon may want to get some subs in here a little earlier than normal is the fact that the schedule gets very, very difficult. Here's a nice through ball for Weston. Shot, and Valerio makes the save. Don't know if it was ticketed for the far corner or maybe just wide, but Valerio was taking no chances. This is the first of 5 games over the next 2 weeks for Lakeland. They are on a Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday schedule from now until their next appearance here at Bryant Stadium on June 24th. So no question that Lakeland will need to play perhaps more substitutes than they have for much of the season, as Tejada is taken down, certainly obstructed if nothing else, but no whistle. Good run by Tejada there through the midfield area, but it was finally Max Zweigart who was able to step in front of him. So with a game Wednesday in Tampa Bay, next Saturday at the Villages, the following Wednesday in South Florida, and then 2 weeks from tonight here against Miami, there is certainly an expectation that some of the bench players for the Tropics will end up seeing more minutes than they have in the first 4 or 5 games here of the regular season. Pereiras wanted Diegas. So we'll see if that comes to pass or not. The Tropics have been pretty healthy, all things considered, here early on. The schedule has not been overly taxing like it will become here. Jake Vanderloot, who was impressive in that home opener against the Villages and then got hurt fairly early in that game down in Weston, remains out. But for the most part, the Tropics have stayed healthy. Here's a chance now for Weston. Shot, and that is well wide on the short side by Sebastian Herreros. The Villages already winners tonight, 4-0 over IMG. So they moved to third in the standings, and Lakeland will likely stay in a tie for second, assuming FC Miami wins tonight against Palm Beach. We do not have a report yet from that one. Again, Weston in the Lakeland end. That's Luis Betancourt, number 9, down after trying to find some opportunity to the left of Valerio. 62nd minute now. Throw in for Lakeland and a whistle. And again, a little bit too much liberty taken with the throw in. So the official will make Lakeland do it again here. It'll be Salgado to do it. Diegas tried to head it through to Pereiras. Good defensive play there by Adam Hassan to shut Pereiras down. I don't think we got a chance to tell you about the first half stats. As we mentioned, Ricardo Diegas with 2 goals, Victor Rojas with 1, Juan Tejada with 1. The last 2 goals coming just about 4 minutes apart. Shots on goal in that first half, Lakeland with 10. Weston had 3. Valerio credited with 2 saves in the Lakeland net. And Joseph Gaddis actually only credited with 3, but they were all good ones. Weston whistled for 5 fouls in the half, Lakeland with 3. And Weston actually out-cornered the Tropics 2-1. But all in all, a very dominant first half for Lakeland. Not completely unexpected. And we do have our first substitution of the night. Nice hand for Kawi Salgado as he comes out. Ben Espinol will check in for Lakeland. So as we expected, perhaps a few minutes earlier than normal. Espinol in for the Tropics. Rodriguez picks it up at the midfield circle to Ivo Diaz. Back to Weichers. Weston with possession now, driving into the Lakeland end, but it'll quickly get intercepted by Tejada. Talking to some of the Weston people here during the halftime, they were very impressed with the forward unit of Dieguez and Rojas and Pereiras and Tejada, and why not? Zach Jones battles Tejada. Now Ivo Diaz with it for Lakeland. He's got a little space. Feeds it on the right side to Espinol, and he can't quite control it. Geddes tries to clear. It'll be a throw in for Espinol. No goals here in the second half. Everything came in the first 45 minutes, in fact, about the first 40 minutes. Tejada got the opener. Pretty individual effort. Dieguez, one of his goals, just beat the goaltender to a spot and was able to essentially deposit into the open net, and his second was a pretty assist from Victor Rojas, and then those two teamed to give Rojas his goal. Rojas really a rebound of a Dieguez shot. Whistle and a foul as Compoy was a little aggressive in the takeaway try. Chase Hovius with it. Feeds it up to Rodriguez, and he is just interfered with by one of the Weston defenders. That's Sebastian Herreros, and I mean, that was blatant. He just absolutely stepped into the path of Rodriguez, and that easily could have been a red card. That was extremely blatant. But
number 2, Weston FC.
Some benevolence by the official, and Weston will continue to play with 11 men, but that was about as close as you can get to a red card without it being pulled, I would imagine. Rodriguez making a nice run, had lots of space, really a chance to set up a dangerous opportunity, and Herreros just simply stepped in his way. Made no attempt for the ball whatsoever. Here's the inlet pass by Pereiras, header, and that goes just wide. Good thought in the box. That would have been Rojas' second of the night. '68th minute now here in the second half. Still 4-0 Lakeland. So Weston has been outscored now in its last 3 games, 16-0. Here's Hovius and Herreros, and Lakeland will get to throw it. Well, if you're Lakeland, you don't want to let the emotions and any chippiness here in the second half get the better of you. You've got too many big games coming up to take any kind of a red card and get a suspension. So Tropics may have to be a little bit careful here. Weston showing a lot of aggressiveness, challenging a lot of these balls, or in the case of Herreros, challenging the run. Herreros will play it back to Geddes. Dances away from Pereiras. Dangerous play there. So we approach the 70th minute. Torrey will intercept right at the midfield circle. Right side to Espinal. Flag up and a whistle and a foul. Two more subs coming in now for Lakeland. Jonathan Jimenez and Alexi Cortez, number 8 and 14 respectively, coming in now for Lakeland. We'll see who the replacements are coming in for. Looks like Pedro Ivo Diaz is one of the players coming out, and might be Juan Tejada going to be the other. And the crowd here at a Square One Burger Field. 1,254 on hand here tonight at Bryant Stadium, giving Tejada a nice hand. Tejada with his third of the season tonight, part of that first half outburst. So as we suspected, a chance to see some new faces and some fresh legs out there for Lakeland here over the final 20-25 minutes.
Youth Soccer Association, Tampa Bay United, Tampa Dynamo FC,
Torrey will track down that ball.
North Lakeland Youth Soccer, Heartland Soccer,
Jimenez with those neon yellow cleats as well, taking the place of Tejada out there, I guess, right? Alexi Cortez, who played a little this year indoors with the Major Arena Soccer League Florida Tropics. Wears number 14. Here's Rodriguez with it. Rodriguez feeds it through to Diegues. Diegues with a shot, and he never really got it away. Good defensive pressure from behind and no foul called. Looked like a solid defensive play. It's Nicholas Pereira who was on Diegues. Bidding for the Tropics' first ever hat trick, at least outdoors. He had, I believe, 3 indoors, including one 4-goal game against Syracuse back in February. That was that wild 12-10 win the Florida Tropics had over the Syracuse Silver Knights in what at the time was a very big win in a chase for the playoffs in the MASL Eastern Division. It's probably the most entertaining game the Tropics played all year at home. Not sure Coach Clay Roberts would tell you it was the best. But Diegues with 4 in that game. Had 17 for the season in 16 of the 20 regular season games the arena team played. He missed a month with a hamstring injury in January. Here's a long ball into the box. Couple of Tropics there for the header, and a great save by Guinness, his best of the night, as not one but 2 different Tropics. Diegues was one that got in there. Not sure if it was Diegues or a teammate that actually got there. It's hard enough to get one guy behind the defense on a play like that, much less 2. And Guinness not happy, as you could see, with his defenders, and understandable. So Rojas will tee it up from the right corner kick area. Ramsey Torrey is up there, as is usual. In the box, he was looking for Torrey back post and was cleared out of there by Weston. So another corner coming up from the opposite side now for Lakeland. And this time it'll be Pereiras that will tee it up. Now Luca Weichers will come up from his defensive spot. Into the box, cleared out of there, knocked down. There's a shot, and that goes about halfway to Kathleen. Victor Rojas a little unhappy with himself, as he had a good look from about 20 yards out. Well, for Weston FC, certainly a moral victory at least to keep Lakeland off the score sheet here in the second half. Lakeland has had their opportunities, but still 4-0 with A little over 16 minutes to go in regulation time. Hovius will get it for Lakeland, and it goes instead then to Alejandro Campos. Number 10 for Weston. Right, make that Campoy, not Campos. Sorry about that. Looking for Pereiras, but it'll roll harmlessly to get us. Pereiras not on the score sheet tonight. See if that may change. Wouldn't be surprised he might get one. Whistle and a foul was Jonathan Solanos. Number 23 was hogtied there by Hovius. Free kick for Weston. Sent into the box, and a header right on to Valerio, who makes the save. Not a lot of mustard behind that redirect by Solanos. Hovius with it. Gets it ahead to Rodriguez. Rodriguez through two defenders. Nice play. Here's a through ball to Dieguez. Ricardo gets it over to Rojas, and it was just deflected at the last moment by Cody Cochran. Good defensive play by Cochran. Nice work by Rodriguez to keep that play alive and fed through to Ricardo Dieguez, who unselfishly was looking to set Victor Rojas up for his second goal of the game. And if not for the last second deflection by Cochran, it would be 5-0. There's the corner, and a little too stout for Dieguez. Swan City Syndicate trying to cheer on the Tropics to goal number 5. Lakeland will improve to 5-1 on the season, and indeed have that 5-game win streak to take on the road against Tampa Bay Wednesday. The SEMA Aguilas also had a 5-game win streak. That was snapped in a 1-1 tie earlier this week against South Florida. So they are still unbeaten, but their win streak was snapped at 5. Pereiras with pressure, now Dieguez with pressure, and they'll play it all the way back to Giddis. So the Lakeland win streak will equal what SEMA did to start the season. SEMA, by the way, stands for Soccer Institute of Montverde Academy. That is an Orlando school that is a national soccer power. And, of course, folks that are familiar with the Florida Tropics remember Robbie Aristodemo, who is a very important mid-season addition to the Tropics roster. He is a coach there at Montverde. But a lot of good young soccer talent at that Orlando Academy, to be certain. Of course, speaking of good young American soccer talent, was really on display this week. Christian Pulisic, the standout for the U.S. men's national team in their win over Trinidad and Tobago with 2 goals. One more substitute here for the Tropics. Gusti Rodriguez will head to the seats and be a spectator for the final 12 minutes as Tevin Gage takes his spot. Pulisic has a little bit of a connection to the Lakeland Tropics, or more specifically their sister franchise, the Florida Tropics, the professional arena team that plays at the Lakeland Center. Christian's father, Mark, was a standout back in the 1990s for the Harrisburg Heat. Harrisburg, one of the division rivals for the Florida Tropics in the MASL. hung one of the real tough defeats on Florida of the season in early February at the Lakeland Center, but can certainly remember Mark Pulisic being one of the premier arena players in the country back in the 90s for Harrisburg. So I'm sure Christian spent many a good night at the State Farm Show Arena learning his trade. And at age 18 is becoming a national superstar in the U.S. soccer program, and that big win over Trinidad and Tobago, 2 nice goals. So fun to watch. Weston trying to dirty up the clean sheet that Valerio has got going here tonight. Valerio looking for his second shutout.
Fans, be sure to stick around afterward for the official autograph session.
He had a 2-0 win over the Palm Beach Suns back here on May 27th. Here's Pereira's trying to make a run, and it's knocked over the sideline for Lakeland throw-in. Good defensive play there by Hassan. Now here's Pereira's. Pereira's still with it, looking, shooting, and get us with a fairly easy save. In fact, since allowing those 4 goals in the season opener, Valerio has allowed just 1, 0, 1, and 0 tonight in the last 4 games. Gave up 3 against the Villages. Of course, his team scored 4, so that was kind of a wild back and forth affair. Of course, the Villages with 8 goals against Tampa Bay this week, so they certainly know how to find the back of the net. Diego's taken down, no whistle, a little frustration on his part, and now hold called against Luis Betancourt, who's been quiet. So he grabbed a fistful of jersey. Problem was the jersey was still on Ramsey Torrey's back, so pressure there by Cortez and the whistle. Things were getting a little chippy there about 15-20 minutes ago. They've settled down some, which is, I think, good news on both ends. Pereiras can't keep it in. As I said, if you're Lakeland, the last thing you really want to concern yourself with or worry about here is an injury. Lots of minutes to be played in the next 2 weeks. It's an aggressive header there. Cody Cochran coming up from his defensive spot. Here's the through ball to Gage, but it's offsides. Not by a lot, but just enough to draw the whistle. Nice takeaway at the midfield circle by Cortez. Gets it over to Jimenez and right side now to Espinal. Reverses field all the way to the near side now to Jovius. Good run by Jovius down the left side. Good feed by Cortez. Jovius still with it. Cuts it to his left. See if he wants a shot. He's taken down. No whistle. And it'll be a throw in for the Tropics. Good defense by Perea there. Here's Pereiras. Pereiras moving it in. Shot near post. Might have been going wide, but Giddis was not going to take any chances. Chance to thank again some of our terrific sponsors that have made Lakeland Tropics soccer possible here in the PDL this season, including Smokin' Aces Barbecue, EA Smiles Orthodontics, Echo Suites, Boring Business Solutions, Cool Now Air Conditioning, Terry Loeb Catering provides the concessions, and they're outstanding here at Bryant Stadium for the Tropics. The Advertiser of Polk County, El Trumpista, Intense Inc., Fast Signs of Tampa, Square One Burgers and Bar, BD's Mongolian Bar, Chick-fil-A, Manny's Chop House, a local favorite obviously, Hall Communications, The Broken Cauldron, Micropath Laboratories, Jets Pizza, Lakeland Moonwalk, Tinsley Creative, just some of the folks that are helping make all this possible here in Lakeland in the summer of 2017. Hovius being watched by two defenders, tries to split the difference and almost got through there. Gage still with it. Gage fights to create an opportunity, but finally snuffed out there by Perea. Just winding down here, the final 5 minutes of regulation time. Probably be a couple minutes of stoppage time, and that will put a bow then on the 5th win in a row for the Tropics. Again, on the road Wednesday in Tampa, rematch against the Rowdies after that 2-1 win a week ago. Against Tampa Bay, Ricardo Diegues with that penalty kick in stoppage time for the winner. So you know that'll be an intense rematch Wednesday, a 7:30 start in Tampa. And at the moment, at least, that game is scheduled for the soccer complex on Waters Avenue, not Al Lang Stadium. The under-23 side uses both venues. They have played at Al Lang earlier this year, I know, in a PDL match, but right now they are planning that one at the Waters Avenue complex. And then the Villages a week from tonight on the road as well. And you will be able to see that one live. The Villages will webcast that live with their folks there, and I believe that will be a YouTube broadcast. We'll be back here at Bryant Stadium on the 24th on i1tv.net for another edition of Soccer Night in Florida, and that will be a good one, Lakeland and Miami. Those two teams currently tied for second in the division. Here's Espinal, run in front, and Pereira will pick up the loose ball. Pereira leaves it off for Jimenez, and he is taken away. There's one more game in there, though, before that game on the 24th, and that is that trip to South Florida against the Surf. Lakeland is number 5 in the most recent PDL power rankings among the Southern Conference teams. First time they have cracked the top 5. They have been honorable mention for the last couple of weeks, this week moving up to the number 5 spot. SEMA, of course, is still very much the number 1 ranked team in the Southeast, and will probably stay that way for a while. The Tropics will play SEMA twice in July. In fact, they will end the season against SEMA on the road, and I think it's a July 1st game here. Let me double check the schedule against the Aguilas. It is a Saturday night, July 1st holiday weekend special here at Bryant Stadium, so you might want to circle the calendar and make plans for that one, because the best in the PDL will be on the pitch here tonight, that night at Bryant Stadium. So SEMA, as we said, the number 1 ranked team in the Southern Conference. That is the Mid-South Division and the Southeast Division combined. They have been there since the start of the regular season. Little hold there on Pereiras, who dances away, tries to feed it through to Diegas, and it'll go to Giddis instead. And let me correct myself. Actually, the OKC Energy Under 23 has actually taken the top spot in the latest power rankings. SEMA is the number 1 team in the Southeast, but number 2 overall now in the power rankings. Corner kick coming up here for Lakeland. Sent on goal, and a good save by Giddis. Diegas took a whack at it, but Giddis was able to corral it. FC Miami City, who is here in 2 weeks, will be 3rd in the power rankings. And Lakeland is number 5, and that is it. We are over. No stoppage time for the second half. No goals in the second half. Lakeland did everything they needed to do in the first 45 minutes as Ricardo Diegas nets a pair. Juan Tejada gets one. Victor Rojas gets one. And it's 5 in a row in the win column now for the Lakeland Tropics as they hit the road for 3 straight, but they will be a confident group after a 4-0 win tonight here at home against Weston. So we thank you for joining us for another version of Soccer Night in Florida. We look to see you in a couple of weeks here on i1tv.net. Thanks to Mike, Gary, Carly, and the gang for all their good work as always. Thanks for Mother Nature as well to holding off the rain tonight. We'll talk to you again on June 24th. The final once again from Bryant Stadium here tonight. The Lakeland Tropics 4, Weston FC no score. Have a great evening, everybody.